Yes, everybody, welcome to Juno Talks Ball. I hope everybody's doing well on the Saturday afternoon. It's international break, and we are obviously pushing to bring you as much football content as possible. We are obviously a Manchester United channel. However, we do also speak other football here sometimes. However, most of the news is Manchester United, and today we have more Manchester United news for you. As per the title of the video, um, Erik Ten Hag's job has just been made a little easier. And the reason why I've titled this is because one of his underperforming stars, Casemiro, has gone off injured in Brazil during the international break at the 79th minute. So after he was taken off by his manager after the game, obviously there was questions regarding it, and apparently Casemiro has a ankle injury. Now, Erik Ten Hag has been playing his main players from last season, that being Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, and um, Casemiro. Obviously, there's other players in there, but that is his core players from last season that has not been doing well this season. And I think he's having a real selection headache where he wants to show faith in them, but he also wants to play a system. So he's in two minds. I also think it's got to do with the dressing room, and they are big players within that dressing room, and obviously he's dealing with a lot. He dealt with Ronaldo, he's dealing with Sancho, there's injuries. So he doesn't want to be dealing with these big players that he's been leaning on um, and just kicking them to the curb. He doesn't want to do that. However, with Casemiro being injured, it makes his life a bit easier. I've been saying for a while, and many of you guys, many of the Manchester United fans have been saying for a while that Erik Ten Hag has lost his ruthlessness from last season. And he needs to get that back, man. He needs to drop these guys. He needs to drop Casemiro. He needs to drop. Sorry, guys. He needs to drop Marcus Rashford, and he needs to drop Bruno Fernandes. They haven't been performing at all, at all. And for me, I think Casemiro can still be one who can come in, and I do think Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes can come in. However, I do think that with Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, there is a system issue where I don't think they 100% suit his system. At least from what I've seen. I mean, if you're watching the games, Bruno Fernandes is playing out on the right, and when Marcus Rashford is playing out on the left, he doesn't keep the width. And in order for Manchester United to play the style of football that they want to play, which is in possession, will be a high position game, and out of position will be a counter press transactional football. Um, I just don't think, especially in the attack, in the possession part of the attack, I do not think that Marcus Rashford suits that system, because in order to keep the ball, space needs to be created, and Marcus Rashford comes inside the whole time. He doesn't hold the line. He comes inside the whole time, and obviously he closes the space instead of opening the space. Now I do think it might be better when Luke Shaw or Regulon or one of our left backs do come back, and might be a bit easier for Marcus Rashford. But we need to keep that width. And you see how easily Garnacho keeps that width. You saw with Anthony on the right wing, instead of playing Bruno, playing Anthony there. Anthony doesn't need to do much to benefit the team. He doesn't need to do much at all to benefit the team. He just needs to stay out wide. He just needs to stay out wide, and he just needs to be a threat out there. And as soon as he does that, he opens up spaces within the team for other people. If you watch City, they love to use Grealish this way, because Grealish stays out wide. He pulls players out wide. They know his ability. He doesn't have the numbers, but he's there to do a job for the team. And in Erik Ten Hag's system, similar to Pep's system, even though it's not the same, they need that width in order for there to be spaces in the midfield. And anyway, I went on a rant about Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, because when Bruno plays and Mount plays, obviously it's too tight, man. It's too tight. It's narrow FC. And I do think that in Erik Ten Hag's system, he needs workers, and this is more on Bruno Fernandes. He needs workers. He needs people that can get across the pitch, especially midfielders. He needs midfielders that can get across the pitch, and this is why Mount was brought in. However, Bruno seems to struggle with this. Bruno is more adapted to like an old school system where he just plays in the 10 and he's just the creator. However, in Erik Ten Hag's system, you need to work, you need to get across the pitch. And Bruno Fernandes lacks this. I think Bruno Fernandes is a smart player and he'll be able to tweak his game. However, at the moment, I don't think he's the guy. I just don't think he's the guy for the system. And he may never be the guy. I want to back him, but he may never be the guy. On to Casemiro once again. Casemiro has just not been the player that we saw last season. And I'm not sure, I don't want to say he's getting old. Last season he was a slow starter, and I do hope he comes around because I think he's a brilliant player to not only have on the pitch, but also in the dressing room. I still believe Casemiro is a mentality monster, and he's a great option to have in the dressing room, especially when people like Johnny Evans is going to leave. And many of the ex-Manchester United players have spoken about Johnny Evans and just having him in the dressing room. And Johnny Evans is only on a 1-year deal. So he's going. Where's the leaders then? There's Varane, always injured. He's always injured. So you need these guys on the pitch as well. As much as I want to see youth, you need these guys on the pitch. Rasmus is young. Rashford, you expect more from him. However, he always needs to come under some sort of pressure in order for him to hit form. Like, if you're not in form, at least run around, at least do the defensive side of the game, at least listen to your manager. But he's trying so hard, and it's just not coming off. It's just not coming off him, and Garnacho looks so much better on that wing because he's doing what the manager requires him to do. Anyway, on to the midfield issue and why I'm saying that this is going to make it easier for Erik Ten Hag. I do think currently at this point in time, our strongest midfield is Mount, Hannibal, and obviously we haven't seen this yet, but Mount, Hannibal, and Amrabat. And I do think so, firstly because with regards to Casemiro, he's kind of evolving his game, and I think he's working with Erik Ten Hag to kind of evolve his game to be a number 6. And this season, you can see he's produced many goals. So it's not like he can't do it. However, it requires a lot of him. And you can see in the past couple of weeks, his legs have been, I'm not sure if his legs is giving out. But he does seem like a slow starter. So let's just say he's a slow starter and he hasn't got there yet. But Hannibal's looked brilliant in that number 8 position, man. And Hannibal and Mount's link-up play has been brilliant when they have played. I mean, I know they haven't played great opposition, but you can only go on the opposition that they have played. And I think Manchester United have looked best when we've had Mount and Hannibal play in that number 8 position. So I'd love to see that with Amrabat there. And this whole ankle injury to Casemiro gives Erik Ten Hag the opportunity to explore that. And it's not about him having to be brave. It's now about him saying that this is my options with Casemiro injured. Even if he does it for one game, even if he just does it for the game, coming back from the international break, I think he really needs to go with that midfield. And Bruno had a great game for Portugal, but I think Bruno also needs to be dropped. And Bruno needs to work on retaining the ball and not always playing that Hollywood pass, which he loves to do, which is his biggest issue. For me, I do think the issue that he doesn't get across the pitch easily enough is an issue, but also his Hollywood pass. He needs to retain the ball. And if we retain the ball, we have a striker that's shown he just needs service. And he's not going to get service if we're constantly going to lose the ball in stupid areas. And you hear Erik Ten Hag saying decision making, but he has players like Marcus Rashford who does want to hold the line and cut inside, and he has players like Bruno Fernandes on the field who wants to do the Hollywood parts, which works from time to time. But if you want to build a system, it does not work. It does not work. Anyway, guys, don't forget to check out this video from me. And in the famous words of Tim the Tatman, leave a like, hit the subscribe, and be somebody to tell somebody, and be sure to tell somebody you love them. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, man.